What is going on with you, YouTube? This is Regular Dave coming at you with another video. We are talking about Madden 17 and simulation sports games. All right, I tweeted something out about a week ago that said, gotta make a video when I get home about playing sim style. Sim is how the game is made, not how you play. Hashtag Madden 17. Real quick, if you want to have a conversation with me, if you want me to get back to you, best place is on Twitter. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. That is by far the best place to get a hold of me. And if your tweet is respectable and decent, I'll hit you back. All right. So a bunch of people took issue with this and disagreed with my stance on this, on what simulation is. Now, let me give you the background of this tweet. I was in a podcast about a week ago. I'm not trying to be Bobby Schmurder there. About a week ago, I was in a podcast and we had the Madden Challenge champion in the podcast, Stiff. He won it all for Madden 16, the Madden Challenge. And I noticed he was getting a bunch of hate. People were saying, well, he's the problem with the game. He's what's wrong with the game. And you know what? Madden would be such a bad title if you didn't have people playing the way that these guys play. And I couldn't 100% disagree more. These players, in my opinion, are not the problem with the game. The game itself is the problem with the game. These people wouldn't play like this. The game didn't allow them to play like that. And that's when it comes down to simulation. Look, if you want to play a realistic style, you want to play football with football principles and football knowledge, you should be commended. More power to you. Pat yourself on the back. I'm happy for you, slugger. That has nothing to do with how the game simulates it. The game is made first, then the user plays it. The game has to be made in a way that allows you to play that way. If it doesn't, it's not simulating football. People took issues and said, well, how come you don't call 2K not a simulation? Or how come you don't call MLB not a simulation? All those games have exploits. FIFA has exploits. I never not called Madden a simulation. I think Madden is a simulation of football. I don't think it's a very good simulation of football at the moment, but yeah, it tries to simulate football. A lot of times it fails or comes up short, and we saw that in the Madden Challenge. People were using things, and things were effective, not based on football principles. They were based on video game principles and exploits. The guy himself said, look, he was running the Nano Blitz. The way to stop the Nano Blitz is to run a play action because for whatever reason, the defensive lineman gets sucked into the blocks. That has nothing to do with football principles. That has everything to do with a video game. So don't get it twisted. Every game, no matter the genre, no matter what, as long as millions of people get their hands on it, it's going to have exploits. People are going to try to break the game. Every game's going to have exploits. My favorite sports simulator, MLB The Show, has tons of exploits. People lay down bunts with 99 rated players and the bunts are perfect and they get on base every time. People throw dirt balls, which are virtually impossible for you to tell if it's going to be a strike or literally land in the dirt before the plate. People do that all day long. MLB The Show is still a great simulation of baseball. Whether a game is a good simulation or not doesn't have to do with the exploits. I just don't think Madden is a great simulation for multiple reasons, and it's not only the exploits, but the way you play the game has nothing to do with how good of a simulation it is. People always want to be part of a group, call themselves sim players. Good for you, I'm happy. I call myself a simulation gamer. When I call myself a simulation gamer, I just thought I meant I'm a dude who likes playing simulation sports games, but apparently now it has to do with the way you play, and that's fine. I mean, look, if you're gonna have me play against somebody who exploits the games, doing nano blitzing and figuring out everything to exploit the game versus somebody who's gonna play realistic, I'm probably gonna lose to both, but at least I'd rather get beat by a football mind, somebody who understands the game more than understands a video game. Yes, so that is to be commended that you play realistic and you don't ruin people's experience, but at the same time, that has nothing to do with how the game, how good of a simulation a title is. All these years, we've been making videos about games being simulation, and we've been complaining that the game allows you to do that. Nobody's been complaining about the players. We know it's gonna be cheese. That's just the nature of video games. There's people who camp in first-person shooters. There's every type of exploit and cheese in a game. We've always been mad that the game allows you to do that the game allowed the rocket catches and the nano blitzes. We didn't care about the people, but now it's more about the people. And it just seems like a way to compensate for the game and say, well, the game would be better if people just played it a certain way. No, the game would be better if they made it where that stuff didn't work. That's just what it is. That's just the honest truth. That's the simulation that myself and everybody has been making videos on for years. It never had to do anything with the player, and for whatever reason now we're putting the onus on millions of users that we know are not gonna play the game the right way. So wouldn't it make more sense to put everything on the one controlled product in the whole situation? That's the game itself. Isn't that what we're supposed to be using to show the actions of the decisions that each user makes? If the game can't get it together, it don't matter if people play the right or wrong way. If you have to put all these restrictions and stipulations on a user, and the user can't run the same play a certain amount of times, and can't go for it on fourth down when they feel like it, and can't throw too many lob streaks. If you got to restrict the user and the game's not showing what would happen if you try to do these things, what would realistically happen, that's probably not the game we should be playing in. If you got to restrict the user that much to get the outcome to resemble football. All right, get active in the comments. I'll get at you guys another time. Peace.